Breaking tonight at the White House, President Trump announcing Mick Mulvaney will be his acting chief of staff beginning next year, taking the place of outgoing chief of staff John Kelly. Mulvaney tweeting just a short while ago, quote, "This is a tremendous honor. I look forward to working with the president and the entire team. It's going to be a great 2019, exclamation point. But the saga is far from over, with speculation running rampant tonight over what the president meant by the word acting or why that word was inserted. Joining me now to dig into all this is Doug Wead, author of Game of Thorns, Inside the Trump-Clinton Election. Doug, always good to see you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks, Martha.
Your reaction, this is a, sort of a Friday evening news drop, and it settles a question that was very open over the course of this week after several people said they didn't want the job.
Yeah. Well, I think Mulvaney, he's great. He's a brilliant economist, good politician, but best of all, he's courageous. He's gutsy. He'll fire a whole board. So he's a good choice. But it is very instructive that the president is leaving out this caveat, acting chief of staff. He's speaking when he says that.
There's some reporting out there tonight that's not verified by us, that was Mulvaney's idea, that he wanted it to be acting. What do you read into that if that were to be the case?
Yes, I've heard that. I suspect that, but it may be true. It's obvious what that says. That says he wants to get the feel for this, to feel if he's the right guy for the job to do it. I don't think the president would have any trouble filling this with Bill Shine, who's the deputy chief of staff, who understands television, who's loyal, who's already vetted, or Sarah Sanders, the first woman chief of staff. It's a high wire act what she's been through. Brilliant. Or David Bossie, who helped win the campaign and who wrote the book Trump's Enemies. If Trump is going to survive these attacks from the House, he's going to counterpunch, and he's going to need someone like Bossie that would know how to lead that. And Jared Kushner. I'm very impressed with Jared. I don't think he lacks someone who could step in and really run that job.
Those are all people that he absolutely trusts, and it's clear that he has a lot of respect for Mick Mulvaney because he's given him, this is really the third job that he's given him in the short time, relatively, that he's been president. Ivanka Trump, who you saw today, put out a tweet right away. Her husband was also someone who was mentioned and you thought would have done a great job. Her tweet is up there congratulating Mick Mulvaney. Why do you think Jared didn't want it or wasn't chosen? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Ivanka told me he's trying to focus on these things he wants to accomplish, and he's been very successful with everything he touches turns to gold. And if he's running the staff day to day, he's going to be bogged down. He's had a chance to see that. And by the way, there would be criticism of him because he's a son-in-law of the president, and that's bogus. There have been when Donald Trump named Ivanka Trump to senior staff, she was the 19th son or daughter of a president to be hired at the White House. It's very common. And the early secretaries of the White House were what became the job chief of staff. They were almost all sons of the president up into modern times. FDR's last year in office, the White House was run by his daughter, Anna Roosevelt. So those are bogus reports. Yeah. Good for Jared. He should do as much as he can do.
Before I let you go, Jim Baker is the person that you hold up as the model chief of staff. I think we have a picture of him in the Oval Office. Why do you say that?
Well, his experience and what he achieved from one administration to the next. But keep this in mind. He was a Democrat when George H.W. Bush tapped him, and he had no experience. He said, I don't have any political experience. I've been in the law. So you can tap someone who turns out to be quite good, who doesn't have all that experience right away, and you've got a diamond in the rough.
Jim Baker is a true statesman and a treasure to this nation, and we all watched him at the funeral recently, but he's a good example to put out there. Doug Wead, thank you very much. Great to see you tonight.
Thank you.
So coming up, why the governor of Kentucky is